Money Mondays. I am Timberland Langan, and I am excited to share these money nuggets with working people like us worldwide. Please like, share, and subscribe here and at our Live Like a Millionaire Now.wordpress.com. That's livelikeamillionairenow.wordpress.com, where you can check out our longer videos, blogs, and more. I'm told that I'm not to be too long-winded on the Facebook live streams. Sorry, guys. I guess that's the Mississippi in me. I can't quite see who's here today, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see if I can figure out how to look at the comments. Let's take a look, guys. You guys know that I'm still learning the technology. I can see that I am indeed live, but I don't see any comments as of yet. But I am just going to wait patiently until I can see who's here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. Well, maybe I should just continue, and I will look forward to seeing comments a little bit later. I see some names down here, but not necessarily any words. But hello, hello. There is so much happening in our world today. We are in the midst of what I call the 3 Ps: pandemic, protests, and programs. And so this is a topic that I've been wanting to cover for a while, but there was so much happening in our world that I had to put this on the back burner for a couple of weeks. So today I get to dive into this topic that I've been wanting to share with you for a very long time. And guys, what I really want us to remember that as the world is changing around us, I want us working people to be very careful that we maintain some sense of normalcy. Yes, normalcy, particularly as it relates to our finances. Because as we look around, as we're talking, as we're thinking and taking steps to open and reopen our world's economy, we have to be mindful of the good information out there and the misinformation floating around from financial gurus and etc. So there are celebrities, there's business people, there are government officials who are encouraging us and to accept all of these kind of offers to make payments later, what I call receive now, pay later payment plans. And I just want us to be really mindful of those things because they sound like relief now, but I'm wondering about the risks later. They just feel like booby traps to me, guys. And y'all know I have to tell it to you straight. So these offers should not be looked upon, as I heard someone say, as God's grace. But you have to remember, God also said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, okay? So if you have the money to pay your bills, then do just that, guys. Pay your bills. If you are short on cash right now, and I get it, and I can certainly empathize with you, and I do want to share some thoughts with you as well along these lines. It is important to take a look at the larger picture, even in the midst of calamity. I know the world is topsy-turvy right now, but does that mean working people like us have to be in topsy-turvy too? Do we have to live in chaos because the world is chaotic? And if you are thinking like me, no, then I want you to type that in the chat, please. I think not. I think not. The world's economy is actually reopening in phases. And just mark my words, guys, if you readily accept these offers, in 3 or 4 months, what feels like a 200 problem today will turn into a debt weight problem of 20,000 pounds tomorrow. And tomorrow is just a couple months away, just a few months away. So Tim, what do you mean by that? What do you mean? Here's an example. Let's say you've got a bill and that bill is $200 per month and you've been given a 2-month grace period to pay it. So that means you've got 2 months later to pay it, or in that third month, you now have a $600 payment due. And that's all due at this one time in order to get caught up on the grace period that you were allowed, not the grace credit, the grace period allowed to you. So now for that one bill, that might be okay. But what if you've done it 2 or 3 times? Then where is that going to leave you financially? I really do see this. The economy is going to bounce back. It always does. But will you bounce back as quickly? Think about this. Businesses, large and small, have lost so much money due to the three P's. And I can just hear these same companies saying things like, we were kind enough to let you receive now and pay later. Well, now it's time for y'all to pay. Balloon payments, double and triple the cost of the original product or service payments, late penalties payment, helpful fee payments, and a barrage of other hidden cost payments. That does not sound like a good idea, does it, guys? So for those of you who are indeed struggling to pay your bills, consider things like this. And please check out my website, livelikeamillionairenow.wordpress.com, because I've written blogs and I've got lots of other tips that you can use right now to really help you stretch your income. But here is something I even did just recently because I wanted to keep my payment at a certain amount for a particular bill. So what I did is I took a look at it. I took a little piece of paper, I went down the list, and I highlighted all of the terms and challenges, that things that I did not know. There was an SEC fee, an HIG fee, and after speak, and I called them, and I'm like, well, what is this? They're charging me $250 here, $350 here, $4 here, just for little fees, little things that I was not familiar with. And when I'm on the phone with the customer service rep. She had no idea what it was, and then they passed me on to the manager who did not know what that meant either. So that, and I say all of that to say, guys, that after I got off the telephone with those people, my bill was cut to the place where it was comfortable for me, and it was comfortable and at the amount that I wanted to pay. And this is what I'm saying too, and I'll talk more a little bit about this later. It's all about getting your bills to a level where you are comfortable paying so that you can take that extra money to do the things you love. And so what that does is that allows you to stretch your income. Now, I often say to working people, we're going to pay two ways. We're going to either pay with money, and when you've got plenty of it, that's not a problem, or you pay with your time. And that means you make those phone calls, you talk to those lending institutions, you talk to the utility companies, and you get them to work with you in terms of making your payments and making them more meaningful. And I highly recommend, if you don't do anything else, guys, make a partial payment. A partial payment is far better than these delayed modification plans. Believe me, believe me. Delayed modification plans should never be your first option. In fact, it should be the last one after you have sought all these other measures. And I just did a blog just a couple of weeks ago titled 6 Ways to Budget in Times of COVID-19 Crisis. And so I think that would be very helpful. I give you 6 just easy to implement tools that you can use right now to help you stretch your income. And then too, I talk a lot about paradigm shifting. And so I just want to kind of, as we're getting to a close out, like I said, I'm trying to keep them short and sweet, guys. But I want to talk about this whole idea of making a paradigm shift. And that is where we sort of change our way of thinking about how we've been doing something. And because of all the things that are happening in the world, we're sort of being forced into that direction. So as it relates to our finances, I want us working people to just consider this for a second. I mean, you may think, oh, Tim, you're way out there with this, but just let's think about this. As working people, we are the CEO, CFO of every aspect of our money lives. And whether we manage a Fortune 500 company or a Fortune 500 home, there comes a time when we have to treat the financial part of our lives like a business. the financial part of our income has to, it does, it just simply has a business element to it. I know we like to think of it as home, and when I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there. Okay, all right. I like to sing, guys, and it's so funny. A student of mine in the classroom, he said, Miss Langan, you really wanted to be a singer, didn't you? So you know what? I get to teach and sing and do the things I love. And this is what the Live Like a Millionaire Now movement is all about. But let's talk a little bit about, before I get to the to that part, I just want to talk about what it's like to be a CEO, CFO of your home. And any guys, and before I even go further, any ideas about that in the chat? Are you guys chatting something in? What does it mean to be a CEO, CFO of your home? I don't want to be the sage on the stage doing all the talking. I want this to be a conversation, a discussion. So and though I can't see the comments, huh? Oh, there they are. Oh, the economy is already bouncing back. Hey, Marion, I see you. I see you. The economy is indeed bouncing back. You're absolutely right. We're not 100% back yet, but we're on that way. And so that's why we want to make very good strategic decisions as we are moving right along. You're absolutely right, Marion. So how do we do a financial analysis of our home? What we do is we start by cutting the fat, guys, just like in any corporation. And what I mean by this, and it's a little deeper, because I know as working people, we're always told cut back, cut back, cut back. And while that is true, it goes a little deeper than just living like a pauper, or living down and out, or living a deprived life. The Live Like a Millionaire Now movement is really more than that. Is where we working people should be living the life of our dreams, even now, by being savvy with the money we already have. So cut the fat means taking inventory. It's a financial analysis and understanding of what you truly want, and understanding that money is a tool to get it. But like any hammer or nails, you've got to know how to strategically use it. Now, folks, I ain't good at much, as my grandmama say, but this one thing I know, and my big mama taught me this very well, and that is how to start with nothing financially and create something really amazing. And there's a whole lot of strategy in that, and I cannot unpack it all today. But I am going to kind of close with an example, and then I'm going to remain online to chat, to discuss, and answer questions. And then I also want to give you a little bit of a homework assignment, and this will become clearer as I explain what I'm going to label as my millionaire moment. And so I'm going to close with my millionaire moment, that those things that I love and that I get to do when I live like what Live Like a Millionaire Now means to me. And it will take on a different tone and a different meaning with everyone else. But for example, I have been a fan of women's tennis forever. As you all know, I'm a Southern girl. I was born and raised in Mississippi. And one of the things I did as a little kid, even in elementary school, is I watched women's tennis. And so I am just absolutely amazed that now that I've moved to California, I've been to Indian Wells event, and I went to my very first major at the Australian Open in 2019.